allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Open public meetings, act statement, please.
Pursuant to the Open Public Meetings Act, adequate notice of this meeting was forwarded to the official township newspapers, posted on the bulletin board on township website on November 3rd, 2022. This meeting is being videotaped all through online.
Roll call.
Mr. Doyle?
Here.
Mr. Key?
Here.
Mr. Mark?
Here.
Mayor Bruno?
Here.
Mrs. Green is stuck in Florida.
Stuck in Florida. Can I get a motion to open the public hearing on ordinance 0123 establishing the salaries and wages of municipal officials and employees of the Township of Franklin?
Make a motion to open O-1-23.
Second. All those in favor? Aye. Seeing no one, can I get a motion to close the public portion on 0123?
Make a motion to close 0-1-23.
Second. All those in favor? Aye. Aye. Can I get a motion to pass ordinance 123 establishing the salary and wages of municipal officials and employees of the Township of Franklin?
Make a motion to pass 0-1-23.
Second.
Mr. Doyle?
Yes.
Mr. Key?
Yes.
Mr. Marsh?
Yes.
Mayor Bruno?
Yes. Can I get a motion to open the first public portion for resolutions and ordinance below?
Make a motion to open the first public portion, resolutions and ordinances below.
Second. All those in favor? Aye. Aye. Can I get a motion to close the first public portion?
Make a motion to close the first public portion.
Second. All those in favor? Aye. Motion to approve correspondence and reports.
Motion to approve correspondence and reports.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion to approve the minutes from January 10th, 2023.
Motion to approve the minutes.
Second. All those in favor? Aye. Aye. Motion to approve the bill list.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the bill list.
Second.
Mr. Doyle?
Yes.
Mr. Key?
Yes.
Mr. Marsh?
Yes.
Mayor Bruno?
Yes. Need a motion to approve licenses for 2023.
Motion to approve licenses for 2023.
Second. All those in favor? Aye. Aye. Can I get a motion to approve raffle licenses?
Motion to approve raffle licenses.
Second. All those in favor? Aye. Aye. Resolutions. Resolution R4223, authorizing the CFO to refund the following escrow fees and close the following escrow accounts.
Take a motion to introduce R-42-23.
Second.
Mr. Doyle?
Yes.
Mr. Key?
Yes.
Mr. Marsh?
Yes.
Mayor Bruno?
Yes. A motion to approve resolution R4323, authorizing the CFO to refund the following escrow fees and close the following escrow accounts.
Motion to approve R-42-23.
4323.
42-23.
No, 43.
43. I'm sorry.
Second.
Mr. Doyle?
Yes.
Mr. Key?
Yes.
Mr. Marsh?
Yes.
Mayor Bruno?
Yes. Resolution 4423, authorizing the CFO to refund the following escrow fees and close the following escrow accounts.
Motion to approve R-44-23.
Second.
Mr. Doyle?
Yes.
Mr. Key?
Yes.
Mr. Marsh?
Yes.
Mayor Bruno?
Yes. Resolution 4523, authorizing the CFO to refund the following escrow fees and close the following escrow accounts.
Motion for R-45-23.
Second.
Mr. Doyle?
Yes.
Mr. Key?
Yes.
Mr. Marsh?
Yes.
Mayor Bruno?
Yes. Resolution 4623, awarding contract to Fralinger Engineering Services for surveying services, farmland preservation projects, and the total amount of $15,928.
Motion for R-46-23.
Second.
Mr. Doyle?
Yes.
Mr. Key?
Yes.
Mr. Marsh?
Yes.
Mayor Bruno?
Yes. Resolution 4723, awarding contract to West Jersey Title Agency for title work services for farmland preservation projects, and the total amount is $3,444.
Motion for R-47-23.
Second.
Mr. Doyle?
Yes.
Mr. Key?
Yes.
Mr. Marsh?
Yes.
Mayor Bruno?
Yes. Resolution 4823, authorizing an additional signer to the official depositories to honor, pay, and all draft checks or orders of the Township of Franklin drawn and countersigned by the proper officers of the township.
Motion for R 4823.
Second.
Mr. Doyle?
Yes.
Mr. King?
Yes.
Mr. Marsh?
Yes.
Mayor Bruno?
Yes. Resolution 48-23, awarding professional service contract to Monmouth Telecom for telephone service. Can I get a motion?
Motion for R 48A-23.
Second.
Mr. Doyle?
Yes.
Mr. King?
Yes.
Mr. Marsh?
Yes.
Mayor Bruno?
Yes. Can I get a motion to introduce the following ordinance? The public hearing will be on February 28, 2023. Ordinance 30323, authorizing the special fee charge for requests concerning body-worn camera recording submitted to the Township of Franklin Police Department, and Ordinance 423, authorizing the statutory fee increase for applications for permit to carry firearms submitted to the Township of Franklin Police Department. Can I get, we'll do 0323 first, Barb?
Motion for 0-323.
Second.
Mr. Doyle?
Yes.
Mr. King?
Yes.
Mr. Marsh?
Yes.
Mayor Bruno?
Yes. And ordinance 423, can I get a motion?
Motion for 04-23.
Second.
Mr. Doyle?
Yes.
Mr. King?
Yes.
Mr. Marsh?
Yes.
Mayor Bruno?
Yes. Can I get a motion to open the second public portion for any comments?
Motion to open the second public portion for comments.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Good evening,
Good evening.
Barbara Halpern, Harding Highway. Okay, basically I want to obviously talk about the redevelopment zone. And from the beginning, myself, along with others, asked, where did this come from? And we were told this did not start at EDC on 12/13/2022. There is no plan. We were told, they were asked, who came to you? And the mayor said, nobody, out of thin air. Both sides of 55 made total sense. Now, we have the Economic Development Commission meeting minutes from May 5th of 2022, which indicates that you had a meeting, those of you who are on EDC, and the following members were there: Jason Brandt, Kevin Constantine, Tim Doyle, Lou Maffa, Joe Petch, and Mr. Bruno were at this meeting where they had a representative, they had a lawyer, they had two engineers, they had an attorney. Our attorney was present, Mr. Lyons. And from what I'm reading here is that it was all about the recommendation to get this area put in a redevelopment zone for Farmland. And Steve Philippone was present. It said it was going to be a warehouse, the conceptual plan, and approximately 560,000 square feet, which is a massive warehouse. Anything over 500,000 square feet is in the large category distribution center. Now, this totally is against what we've been told at multiple meetings. We've tried to ask this question multiple times, multiple different ways. We were told, oh no, it had nothing to do with EDC. Well, obviously, to arrange a meeting with all these parties there, this didn't just happen in May. This was arranged quite a bit before that. And basically, Mr. Philippone stated that he had a concept plan. So, is this concept plan at the meeting? Mr. Bruno, you were there. Mr. Doyle, you were there. Did you see a concept plan? Oh, is that your excuse? You don't remember?
You could say all you, was that?
I don't remember. I don't recall.
But that was a meeting, we probably have somebody come here once a week with a concept or something.
Okay, well,
So like you're saying, it was a meeting in this room.
okay, well, I get that, Tim, but since I have 5 minutes, let me continue. Let me continue. Okay, well, based on this meeting,
Come on, guys, one person at a time.
where it was discussed that because of the greater than 2,000 gallons per day for the septic, which would require the state, that there was a request to make the county map change for the sewer service area. And that request was then sent through to the engineer, and there was also a request to make it a redevelopment zone. All of the dates of these line up with this meeting. So to say this had nothing to do with it is a complete fabrication. Because on 5/6, there was a letter recommending for redevelopment the Farmland tract and a recommendation to change the sewer service area for Gloucester County, which was just changed recently, by the way. And if they update every 10 years, what has it been, 2 or 3 since we just changed it? All of this basically, on top of going to the EDC meeting myself, and I had Bill with me that evening, we were told, well, we're all residents, you should trust us. How the hell can we trust you when you violate our trust by telling us the absolute opposite of reality? This is our proof. It's in black and white. You've all broken your trust with the residents, and that's really sad, because now it doesn't matter what you say, it's all BS. How can we ask you a question?
I've seen 6 different plans for that. I saw a steel place, a warehouse, a rehab.
But did any of them result in the next day a letter going out recommending these changes to our town? Yeah, exactly. The day after, there's a letter from the zoning officer requesting these things. So it's not like there's no link. It's not like just any old meeting. There wouldn't be a letter going out saying, oh, change the sewer service area for Mr. Fazio. And while you're at it, get him a redevelopment zone. So
Do you have a copy of that sewer letter?
it's the minutes. And it's a letter from Rosemary to
I know
Barbara.
it's the minutes.
Yeah, that's a letter.
I don't really know what you're talking about with the sewer.
Well, if you don't know what we're talking about, and this is what's going on in town hall, then you don't belong up there.
Sewer service center?
Sewer service area, okay? You don't know what the sewer service area map is for the township? Then why are you sitting there? Maybe I need to be sitting there because I know all this shit.
Every November. Every November.
Recall election. Good night.
There you go. I'll sign the petition.
Good evening, gentlemen.
Good evening.
My name's Chris Sayers, 184 Malaga Lake Boulevard. So for the past few meetings, I've stood here and tried to explain from you from economic standpoint what this development will mean for the residents of Franklin Township. I am certified in public finance from the Fels School of Government at the University of Pennsylvania. I have studied intimately the effect that unconstrained development has had on municipalities throughout the state. The New Jersey Supreme Court, as I've said before, has ruled that each municipality in the state is required to allot land for the purpose of constructing low-income, high-density housing. That's apartment buildings, that's townhomes. This was done in response to and in hopes of ameliorating concentrated poverty in the state's urban areas, a noble goal. This initiative is known as Fair Share Housing. Franklin Township, as it is required to do by the state, has set aside allotments for land for the construction of low-income, high-density units. Most of these plots of land are in Malaga, and I have a map here that will show you, and the people, unfortunately, I don't have a stand. The area in red is the redevelopment area, and the area in yellow are areas that are zoned for high-density residential housing. Do you notice something peculiar? Most of them are in Malaga, and there's a few in Franklinville. This is what's coming to our township in a year, probably not too far in the future. Our master plan says that the actual construction of fair share housing is deferred only because there is a lack of adequate sewer and water capacity. That's in the master plan on page 3. In previous meetings, I was assured by some that this township would never allow for the construction of sewers. They said I was overreacting. But today, providentially perhaps, I received the minutes from the May 2022 Economic Development Commission meeting. Minutes which for some reason were never published online and made readily available to the residents. These are the papers I handed out earlier to everybody at this meeting. I wanted everybody to be informed. And at this meeting, the developer, whose express wish was to have this area developed in order to build a 560,000 square foot warehouse. And they said that they will need a sewer expansion if their project is to be built. Yes, this is the same redevelopment plan that the Planning Commission just voted in favor of. Once this is done, the last barrier preventing the construction of high-density housing will have been breached, and there is nothing that the residents or even the Township Committee could do to stop it. Again, this is mandated by the state of New Jersey. So development will not stop at 380 acres in the redevelopment zone. It'll spread throughout the municipality. I'm not here to denigrate people of low income. They have the right to clean and affordable housing like everybody else. But I would argue that Malaga, as a portion of the town, has a sizable portion already of low and middle income residents, probably more than any other area of Franklin Township. And it will be those same people that will be harmed financially when townhomes and apartment blocks are built in their neighborhood. With high-density housing will come an influx of new residents who will be required to increase, and we will be required to increase services like EMS, fire, and build more infrastructure, expand our schools. The Township Committee has already gone on record stating that tax revenue from the redevelopment zone will not go to the school system, the largest consumer of our property taxes. So where's the school board going to get the needed extra revenue when the student body grows exponentially? From the increased property taxes of Franklin Township's working middle class residents. The redevelopment zone will irrevocably change our entire community, not just Malaga. It will also financially harm the people who can least afford to pay the higher property taxes. Throughout this process, you have lied to us repeatedly. You said no meeting took place between you and the developer. It was a lie. You said we don't know if it will be a warehouse. It was a lie. And you said we won't allow sewers to be built. This also was a lie. With the tiny shred of decency you have left as our representatives, stop this redevelopment zone, or come November, so help me God, we will stop it and you along with it.
I also note in the minutes that the developer offered to put money in escrow to pay for the redevelopment plan. Is this happening? Did it happen? Mr. Lyons?
That developer is not involved. They gave a presentation that they're going. The property is not under contract, because they're not involved. That's the problem. You're piecing a bunch of stuff together to make a narrative. We've had a dozen developers tell me you're picking one property that's not involved and gone.
Why don't you tell us what's going on? Why do you keep saying, oh, no one ever came to us, this has nothing to do with it, but yet there was a recommendation. Did you recommend that Mr. Winkowski change the sewer service area?
I don't think anybody in Franklin can change the county's sewer service.
You can petition them to do so, and it was done for farmland preservation. You can change it, you just have to go through the
The
process.
developer asked us to look into it. We said it's not our
I'd like
department.
to just shut up for a few minutes.
Okay. Was anything done with the engineer regarding changing or updating the sewer service plan? Does Mr. Finley know this? You're the administrator.
I have no idea the letter you're speaking about from Rosemary.
Maybe Barbara knows, since she seems to know more than all of you. No one wants to talk. You know, no one's saying no, yes, whatever.
I'm answering all your questions and he's yelling at me to shut up. You guys just want to talk, so let's just talk and take it, we'll sit here and you can know it.
Well, that's fine. Also, Mr. Lyons said at a meeting that if the developer pays for the plan, then it will be an issue because he would basically, let's see, if developer pays for the report, it may have an impact on the report, quote unquote, from Matt Lyons. Now, the developer,
In response to a query about why we were spending taxpayer dollars, if you recall.
right, but here's the question. This developer was offering to put money into escrow to pay for such. And I'm asking, you know,
He
Did he?
didn't put any money in escrow, if that's what you're asking.
that's what I'm asking.
He did
Yeah.
not.
My understanding too is that, you know, someone had mentioned, and I don't know where I heard this or if it's real or not, that the developer would reimburse the expenses that we've incurred.
This developer is no longer, like,
An
that was it. There was one meeting with this developer, and that was it.
Well, maybe you can tell us what you're going to allow in the zone, and then maybe you won't have so many angry citizens.
We haven't gotten the recommendation, whatever, from the planning board yet. Once we do, then, we'll have to, Mike and Jonathan will have to vote on this as well as Heather, the attorney.
And what is the purpose of the redevelopment zone? You don't have Farmland anymore if you go along with the vote from last week. You have two pieces of very valuable threatened and endangered species and forests that are producing air cleaning and stormwater and drinking water for us so that we don't have to pay for infrastructure to provide those services. We get millions of dollars of services from forests. We have very little forest left in this area of town. Great, you have forest by you, Tim, but it doesn't help the people breathe down here. Doesn't help our water quality down here. What happens in Piney Hollow isn't going to make a difference to the water quality of the people that live here. Our master plan tells us to protect our water quality. This is one of the highest recharge areas in town because the soil is nothing but sand. The water table's high. You start putting a lot of use in it, you're going to have a mounding effect of the water table. Lots of water going in, groundwater comes up. You got all the surface water coming down, running off the site, flooding the neighbors. And they're already having issues. This is a low-lying area. This is an environmentally sensitive area. You need to put development on ground that can handle it. You need to put it on upland areas and not on forested, wet, threatened and endangered species areas. It's the wrong area. The fact that the roads are there is not enough. It really isn't. It's unfortunate for you or whoever is in favor of this that the site is just a bad site for this. It can't be overcome. Having two roads doesn't make it better. So do us all a favor. Either don't ever bring this up for a vote or nix it when you vote, because none of this is the right move for this town. It is a huge mistake, and it will cause nothing but problems. Thank you.
I don't want to yell at any of you. I just want the answers, if that's okay. And I don't know that you can give them to me, but maybe the attorney can. Because after seeing this, I have a few questions, and they're serious. I mean, because I don't know, and it's out of ignorance I'm asking them, okay? Cindy Merckx, by the way, from the Sentinel. In this letter, in the minutes, let's just put it that way, it talks, Mr. Petch motioned to send a recommendation to have the engineer review the sewer plan. I can't find the sewer plan on our website. Is there a sewer plan that exists?
I think his recommendation is to send it to the committee to approve. I don't think it ever came to us to approve a.
Mayor, we had one a long, long time ago. We were looking at a site. I mean, I hate to say it's 20 years doing this. I remember it. It was actually on the DiMatteo farm in the corner. And it was just a drawing, I think, that was done, kind of one of these conceptual things that was going on. But what concerns me is along that road, along that 20-year, we were sued, as you remember. We're still always in this litigation with the Greenways of Franklin, as Chris had said. And we were, at that time, in 2007, at that point, the court told us we had to build 850 residential units. You remember that? It's on the resolution. You can still see that on the website. Then it named a whole bunch of Malaga sites in this resolution that we had to pass. And of course, some of them even said that they were going to be serviced by well and septic. So, I don't know how many, I know Suzanne, she's been here, and some of us have been here a long time to meetings. So when we see this sewer system and where it's going and where it's located, I know that the business community, and I'm sure that they've been asking, because they've always asked. We had a lawsuit years ago with Pegasus. He won his lawsuit, but they never came through. So what I want to know is this, and maybe you can look into it or have somebody look into it so I can get the answer that I'd like to know. Is there, from this lawsuit that we had with the Greenways, is it still in effect? Are we still looking at 850 units in addition to this, to these other proposals that are coming in?
Matt, you want to talk on what you know about affordable housing?
Yeah, we're in the process of perfecting our third round affordable housing plan.
Mm-hmm.
The Greenways situation, obviously that litigation is long ago. I can't.
Yeah, it finished in 2012, yeah.
Right, so it predates me. However, the issue the operative issue is, as you said, the existence of the sewer.
Right.
And back in the Green Lease era, there was discussion of expanding the GCUA service area.
Really?
There was back then. However, what occurred out of that was a series of decisions and findings regarding the inability. It had to do with bond counsel, and it had to do with the fact that the towns that joined the GCUA at its inception were part of a class of ratepayers to those bonds.
I see.
So they were liquidated by that, so that you couldn't simply just continue to build tie-ins, and that there would have had to have been a separate, as far as a regional.
Right.
So the decisions made by the towns that did not bid back then have long-term repercussions that are still with us today. I'm not saying that's the reason. I'm saying it's just a practical reality that you can't just go to Clayton and say,
No.
for example,
Right.
or Williamstown and say,
We've tried that. I've been at those meetings and they weren't
run the
successful
pipes
as well.
down, and
No, that wasn't.
it's
You're
not
right.
simply a matter of cost.
Right.
It's the proprietary right of the UA and the bondholders to be part of that closed system, so to speak. So none of the issues with affordable housing. We're still at the situation now where all of these formulas and whatnot that are utilized statewide, for us, it has to do with the impracticability of building those is based on all those factors, which is again the limitation of the regional sewer authority.
So when people come in and they do these conceptual review plans, as you said, they're just a conception that somebody comes in, brings all their team in, pays a lot of money to bring them in. And I guess I'm assuming, because some of them are advertising the DiMatteo Farm today, that new housing is coming. I mean, once again, it's on a website for Realtor and them, but it's advertising that this is coming. And that's where all of us who look at these sites are concerned. It's a matter of concern, and I think, to take it seriously.
What website is that?
I'm sorry?
The Realtor's website?
Yeah, if you go to Realtor.com or Zillow.com, these are the ones that some of our readers are sharing with me. And pretty much their concern is it says right on there, like the old DiMatteo Farm, I'm not sure what exactly, it's like $850,000. But once again, and we had to go through this before with the one where Fazio said it was already a done deal. Now we've got another one that's saying that we're going to have all this housing. So that's why our questions are here, because it's out there. And I know that they're probably looking at old websites or things like that, but we need that clarification. And I know that I personally want to come to you guys for those answers. And I don't expect you to have them right there this minute, but I appreciate it when you do get back to me and you have the answers. So thank you very much.
Cindy, can I ask you,
Oh, sure.
you're saying 850, 200?
Yeah, Mike,
Old
that,
DiMatteo Farm?
no. These are,
Second round out.
right, it was a second round obligation. It's on resolution, Mike. If you go on the website, no, that's okay. There's several lots that are listed on there. So it wasn't just all there, but whoever is selling that property is advertising it, that it's going to be in that area. Like in other words, it gives the impression that it may be in that area. Okay. So that's what I'm saying.
The state identified those properties?
I have to be sure. I want to be sure what Cindy's referencing, but I believe so. But again, I'll speak to you about it.
That'll be fine.
I can go into more detail about greenways after.
That'll be great. We can talk anytime. I always have a
It's 2 doors.
phone number that's open, and I'll be happy to talk with you. Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor Kevin Kelton. And I'd like to, there's been some discussion tonight on the Economic Development Committee, EDC, in this town. I'd like to make a recommendation to this Township Committee. The Economic Development Committee, or EDC, for years has been the place where developers and business owners and their professionals come bearing great gifts of grandeur to board members and to township officials. Out of the eye of the camera and generally off the radar of the general public. This commission has been the source of spending and loss of millions of Franklin Township taxpayer dollars on failed, expensive projects such as Meredith Farms on Route 40. And now the taxpayers of Franklin Township were expected to dole out thousands more dollars to pay your professionals to come up with a redevelopment plan with a predetermined outcome on 380 acres of wooded and quasi-farmed land in Malaga. This project would only benefit a private developer and their stakeholders. In addition, the Economic Development Committee is the source of tax abatement and tax abatement approvals, one after another, for businesses, and where the tax transfer goes back to for the businesses that don't pay those taxes, that get these EDC tax abatements. The residential homeowners wind up picking up the taxes that otherwise these big corporations would be paying. So, I'd like to make a recommendation that the EDC in this town be dissolved. Any future development or developers that come forward to this town will go through the traditional process of the planning board, the zoning board, and even to the township committee, where their projects are out front, they're transparent, they're not hidden in a meeting at EDC where the public is not informed or doesn't know anything about. It would go through the traditional ways, just like if a homeowner had a project for a variance or they sought planning board approval, that's where it should go, not at EDC. So I believe that it's time that this board dissolve the EDC and save our taxpayers of this town millions of dollars. Thank you.
Dave Marshall, 67 New Road. Most of what I was going to discuss has already been brought up by most of the concerned residents. We've talked about the flooding, the clear cutting. Some of that information that I got about Q Farms was not accurate. There is a local tax assessor that does have the final say on what gets approved by the Q Farm through the state, after I investigated it through the state. So there are things that can be done to curb some of these developers using it as a tool. That's something, of course, I can't do myself, but it's something you can easily look into. The clear cutting portion, as we've talked about, has a lot of flooding damage that can occur. We're already seeing the side effects of that now, and you can see it all through the township. Something I've been aware of and noticing more and more, there's 3 or 4 big properties being cleared further up at the next interchange of 55. 55 North, right before Little Mill Road. Behind Winsinger near Railroad Avenue, there's 2 big parcels that are being cleared. And then a couple looks like roadways being cleared out towards Little Mill Road. And I don't know if that's somebody planning for the next development of this. If this goes through, they're going to take advantage of that, or if there's another ulterior motive there, I don't know. But it just seems, again, kind of odd, and after the things that have been brought to light lately, with some items that we talked about transparency the first night I spoke that hasn't happened, it raises a lot of concern. There's 2 things that I want to bring up. The main thing is, it was brought up the first meeting that if you guys have anything, and I'm not saying you do, but if you have any benefit that's coming out of this, please abstain away from it. I know there's 2 newer members and there's older members, but make sure you have no dealings with this when it's done. It'll help build back a little bit of this trust. There's 2 types of character. There's what you have, what you do, and there's also what you do that shows that you're nothing but a character. So this is your chance to stand up and show which one you are. Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor, Township Committee. Harry Kennedy, 1578 Fry's Mill Road. Mike, Jonathan, congratulations on being seated on the Township Committee. I worked with Mike, obviously, as the administrator and negotiated contracts with him when he was negotiating for the police department. I've seen Jonathan in action at the school board, and I'm sure they'll both be welcome additions to the Township Committee, and I'm sure they'll be independent minds making up their own mind. Sorry that Heather isn't here tonight, so we could discuss her elevation to deputy mayor. I see she gave up the planning board along with John Stipak, one of those funny circumstances. I don't know whether that had anything to do with the way they voted at the previous planning board meeting or whether it was just a happenstance, but it happened. What I'd like to talk about tonight, Mr. Mayor, is something different. Your salary ordinance, you had the second hearing for that tonight in order to pass it. Didn't have it tonight? Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry, yes.
Yeah, you forgot already. It was so important, right?
I saw that.
That's all right. Hey, you have a lot of things on your mind. In the salary ordinance, you very generously gave a 2% raise. 2% to the people that work for you that aren't represented. I believe that's correct, Mr. Mayor?
Correct.
The people that work at the road department, they have a contract. What was that, about 4%?
2%.
2%?
They got, was it like 75 cents on the rate or 50 cents on the rate?
70, okay. 2% again, very tight. I wouldn't say penurious, but tight. And how about the police department? What kind of raise did they get?
That's still being negotiated.
What was their last raise? 3%, 4%?
2%.
2%. There was one anomaly I noticed, and Jonathan's an accountant. He knows what anomalies are. There was one anomaly I noticed where you weren't so penurious with your 2% increase, Mr. Mayor. That was the prosecutor. You gave the prosecutor a 25% increase over last year's salary. 25% increase. Now, I'm sure he's a wonderful young man, Mr. Mayor. He just graduated from law school. He's been out for 2 years. He's never been a prosecutor before. But, oh my God, he got a 25% increase over the previous prosecutor. That's a very, 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 very generous raise.
If I told you he works another day, would that matter?
25%.
Works 2 days.
Again, Mr. Mayor, working the days and the number of cases and the fact that these are done by Zoom, Mr. Mayor, the number of hours that are involved would be less, so you could rationalize it any way you wanted to, but you and I could count up the cases and the Zoom time, and it would be less time. And I defy you to prove it would be 1 minute more, Mr. Mayor, because you and I both know it wouldn't be. It's like working on Saturday and as an electrician and getting double time when you only work 4 hours on Friday. I know. It's this.
I was involved in that.
Again, I don't care to talk to you. I know.
The issue is that certainly during the COVID pandemic, there was a very significant reduction in case volume.
Would you please stop the clock while Mr. Lyons uses my time? I don't need to hear from the solicitor. I need to hear from you, Mr. Mayor. Your paid blocking back doesn't need to be talking.
After it was over, our police department had the...
Keep going, Matt. Keep timing. Keep using it, Matt.
Significantly.
Were you in the vigilante law firm at one time, Matt, or did you work with Jackie?
I did.
Thank you, Matt. I guess you would provide that rationalization. Well, in any case, this gentleman, I know this is a happenstance. It has to be a coincidence. His name is Christopher Ross, and he's been out of law school for 2 whole years. And he got that increase. My God. He's the son of the Republican county chairwoman. What a coincidence. And this year, there will be a Republican primary in Franklin Township. That is a 100% guarantee. 100%. And isn't it nice to have the county chairperson as the person that selects the county line for those that might wish to run for re-election? May I also mention that there is nobody up there with more expertise on how to avoid zoning and how to avoid taxes than my good friend, Mr. Doyle. Thank you for your time.
Sorry, if I may, really quick, and I apologize for getting heated. I just don't like being lied to, especially right to my face. So I apologize for getting heated. This question's for Mr. Doyle. This is an actual real question, not a statement. And this is just for transparency's sake. I don't know anything, but somebody told me that, again, on this map, you're welcome to look at it. One of the areas that are zoned for new high-density housing, is that, do you currently farm on any land that is zoned for that high-density housing?
I don't know. I don't know.
How do you not know?
Did you want to look at the map? Did you want to look at the map?
I could tell you.
So the areas in yellow on the
I
map,
don't own it. It could be something like that.
yeah, you could lease.
I don't pay attention.
But I'm just saying, for transparency's sake, and for like, these are things that, so this is Franklin, so I know it's hard to see because it's the map that's being made. So the areas in yellow are farm lots that are high density zoned housing. This is the redevelopment zone, this is the LC. I apologize for the low
I would
quality.
farm this. I farm this. I would say no. I don't think.
Okay, I just, for transparency's sake, I would just like, if by chance you do happen to have any kind of conflict of interest for the farmland that you farm, and I'm not saying, I don't know, but could you look into that? And if you do, if there's a conflict of interest, would you recuse yourself from any further development on that land, especially if you could benefit financially from it?
I would recuse myself from anything I had conflict with.
Okay. All right. I just appreciate that. I thank you for your time and for answering the question. Thank you so much.
I get a motion to close the second public portion.
Motion to close, second portion.
Motion, second. All those in favor? Aye. Committee reports, Mike, you got anything?
No, I just want to address some of the comments that were made towards me tonight. Someone said that you don't trust any of us. I'm new to the game, I'm learning on the fly. I'm an independent thinker, and just because it has to be done, doesn't mean I'm going to do it. I study things, I look into things, I investigate things before I make a sound and educated decision. So to be lumped in and saying that we're all lying, I'm not. I didn't tell one lie tonight, and have not told a lie since I've been elected. So please let me do my due diligence, investigating, and then I will make my decision on an educated decision, not lies. Thank you.
Yeah, I'll echo Mike's statements that I'm still also doing my research, and I welcome any and all resources. I think you stated some very interesting facts, sir, about the financial well-being, and stated some reputable information, so I would love to take a look at that. So I am doing my research still as well. But as far as committees are concerned, environmental met last night, and we elected John Stevick as chairman, so congratulations to John. And communications met last week, and Chairman Morris was re-elected, so good congratulations to Chairman Morris. They provided us a copy, the Communications Commission provided us a copy of potential website redesign that they're looking at, and I provided that copy to every member here. We will make sure that Heather gets a copy of that as well. Thank you.
Thanks, Tim.
I just want to comment on some of the things that were brought up about the, I think there's some confusion in that presentation. Sewer was not something that was ever asked for. I don't personally know where sewer would come from, where would the pipe connect? We're not allowed to just connect to a different town. From my understanding, their question was the sewer service area, which is a county map, which we have no control over. For them to apply for a septic or commercial development, it has to be in that sewer service area. It doesn't have, that's a futuristic map the county's had forever. It's not to bring sewer to Franklin. I have not seen a plan for that. I'm not for that. So I think we're mixing a lot of issues. I just want to clarify that. I'm sure that CMB could explain it a little better than me, but that was my opinion.
I just want to thank the Public Works They did get all the leaves picked up, I guess what, a week ago? We didn't have to get them pushed around with the plows and the snow. We caught a break this year. I guess we had a little bit of snow a couple times at this point last year, so. With that said, can I get a motion to close?
Motion to close?
So,
All in favor?
Aye.
Thanks.
Snow